All right. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Gottschall. I am the Lower Paxton Township Manager. In typical fashion, I'm going to give a brief summary of this evening's agenda, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home on television as the board gets settled in. This evening is a business session of the board. We have a number of items on the agenda. First, to include under old business, the board will take two action items, both related to an ongoing project that we will all be quite pleased that this evening concludes, both of which being for the comprehensive zoning amendment, one being the zoning ordinance itself, the next being the comprehensive planned land use map amendment. After that, under new business, the board will take action to appoint a member to the Parks and Recreation Board, and then take an action to adopt Resolution 2025-05, which authorizes the submission of a grant in the amount of $250,000 pertaining to the Hodges Heights Park Improvement Project. After that, under subdivision and land development, the board will take action to approve the improvement guarantees, the payment of township and authority bills, and then finally hear any last announcements before making a motion to adjourn. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I call to order the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors business meeting for Monday, May 19th. Please stand for the pledges of allegiance led by Supervisor McCormick.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we move on to the approval of the minutes, I just want to make a note that the board met in executive session immediately prior to this meeting to receive information. Moving on to the approval of the minutes for January 21st, 2025 and February 4th, 2025 business meetings. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to public comment. If you would like to come up and provide public comment, please state your name and address. There is a policy to limit remarks to 5 minutes. I do not like to interrupt people, so at 5 minutes, I will just simply raise my hand, and you can continue or you can sit down, but I'll let you know when 5 minutes is up. In the future, if anybody wants to present longer than 5 minutes, that's entirely okay. We just ask that you reach out to the township manager and let us know so that we can place that item on the agenda. Okay, so is there any public comment?
Hello, my name is Ben Otterbein, and my wife is Caitlin Otterbein. We live at 752 South Nyes Road, Hummelstown. We did send an email earlier this week that we'd like to present. We might go a minute or two over 5, but I promise to keep it under 10. Okay. We do have a short PowerPoint that we'll be presenting on the screen. It's 7 slides. We'll go fast. The visuals will help with the issue we're trying to describe. Thank you for helping with that, by the way. All right, like I said, we live at 752 South Nyes Road. Approximately July of 24, the township began work on the Conway fill site that is projected to become a park. Our property adjoins it to the south of the fill site. Upon the start of the project, we've started to notice stormwater damage to our property. A lot of flooding and erosive flow have been conducted, washing out our driveway into our USDA ag field, which is now full of stone, and across the property towards the creek. We immediately began communicating with the Lower Paxton Public Works Director about the issue, Tim Nolt, back in July of 24, and asked for erosion and sediment control ENS solution. Since then, the events in stormwater have become more frequent and severe as the project continues to grow and the damage has also grown. Slide 1 is a slide from HRG Group, which is the township's engineer. that states the proposed grading will not significantly alter any drainage patterns leaving the site when we initially raised concerns. Slide 2 is a pre-construction photo on the left of the property, north of our driveway. Our driveway and property line is in the right of the photo. The stone lane going down is the driveway in question. The photo on the right is a photo from this week of the additional grading and the 23,000 plus cubic yards of fill that have been added to the site per the master plan. If you look at the pre-construction photo on the left from last Tuesday, can we go back a slide, dear? Sorry about that. You'll see in the pre-construction photo, you can see the tree line all the way in the back of the property. Just to give a relevant grading change, you can no longer see that tree line, just to show the changes that have happened with this portion of land in the hill that's being constructed there. Slide. Over the past 10 months, as the runoff has continued and increased, we lost a large portion of our driveway and the usability of our driveway to a point where mail and package trucks are telling us they may no longer come up the lane while it's raining. This is an aerial photo pre-construction of our driveway in Stone Lane, running east to west on the Conway fill site border. Slide 6, you're looking on the left, shows the first stormwater event we had in July of '24. That's when we made first contact with Lower Paxton Township to let them know, bless you, that the ENS controls were not working. You can see where the silt sock blew out and the erosion and sediment was coming down the driveway toward the creek. Slide on the right is our driveway to current state last week. We've had multiple blowout events. That's actually limestone bedrock below the driveway that's carving from the velocity of the water running across the property. My wife, real quick, is going to speak on Section 102 of state. Go ahead, dear.
So Pennsylvania DEP's Chapter 102 that discusses erosion and sediment control specifically states that any earth disturbance activities require development, implementation, and maintenance of best management practices to minimize accelerated erosion and sedimentation. And the stripping of vegetation, changing and grading, and moving and depositing of soil and rock qualifies as earth disturbance events. Lower Paxton Township ordinances in Chapter 170 also support this. They specifically mention the state's Chapter 102 ordinances and indicate that they will work in parallel with those ordinances. Furthermore, the township ordinances indicate that alteration of land that may affect stormwater runoff characteristics shall implement measures to prevent injury to property. They indicate that erosive flow conditions must be avoided and erosion, sedimentation, flooding, and other harm to adjacent properties must be avoided. So on the left, this is just a closer photo of what Ben was describing. This is the limestone bedrock that there was once a driveway there, but now it's bedrock that has been carved in each storm event that has happened. It's hard to get the depth, but there's about 6 inches of crater that have been dug into this. And if this video will play, this shows the storm event that happened on May 6th. And the water that is, clearly eroding away the driveway, just flowing down the driveway, washing everything into our hayfield towards Spring Creek and Beaver Creek. And you can clearly see that this is sediment-laden water. We have videos and photos from each storm event that have happened since last summer. And after this particular event, we had just sediment leaching from the soil on this site for 24 hours after the storm event until the contractor came in and scooped out the water sludge that was sitting at the soil stock.
In conclusion, I know we're over 5, and I will bring it home in the next 2 to 3 minutes here. Where we'd like to go forward from here. We've tried to work with the township for updated implementation, of erosion and sediment controls that will manage the changed stormwater runoff and characteristics from the property in order to stop the erosive flow and sedimentation from the site onto our property. In layman's terms, we're just asking for the erosive flow to be mitigated on the property and stopped across our property. Once the contractor can provide what they're going to do, we're asking for a timeline of when they will implement that. And once we can prove that solution is working, we are asking for repairs and replacement to a section of our driveway. We've tried to be good neighbors and work with the township over the past 10 months with the Public Works Department. It's concerning, though, that when the township issues a permit to itself from the township, co-permitted with the township's contractor paid by the township, and the oversight is implied by the engineering group employed by the township who developed the site, I question who the unbiased oversight is protecting the residents in the situation. There doesn't seem to be one. We want to be good residents. However, unfortunately, we've been met with emails not responded to and continued flooding. We've elevated to the Dauphin County Conservation District, DEP, local state representatives and senators, the state AG's office, and spoken with local council. We would like to de-escalate the situation. We don't want to continue escalating. We want to be good neighbors as the township continues to build its park. But we're asking for some help here. Clearly, there's a flooding problem. We look forward to working with you. Bill Weaver, who contacted us yesterday, has been great so far. We just heard from him first time yesterday. He would like to come out and do a site visit with HRG. We've already done one. He wants to do a second one as we talk over some proposals. And I invite everyone from the Board of Supervisors, and Rachel, of course, come on out, take a look at the scope of the project and the damage we're incurring. We'd love to have you on board. Any questions for us? And thank you for your time.
Yeah, one question. So HRG and Dolly were out last Friday, I believe, and were these pictures taken before?
That video of that flooding event was from Wednesday. We have a separate video which we can show you from a flooding event on Saturday post HRG and Dolly
Okay.
if you'd like to see the second one.
And it's just as bad?
Yeah, we can.
And the photos earlier on, these are from today. This is what it looks like
That's
today.
the new pit Dolly dug over the last week. It's a straight
They were
cliff.
out working on it today. I mean, it's been changing daily, to be honest. But this is what it looks like as of this afternoon.
Okay. Any further updates with correspondence today, Mr. Gottschall or Mr. Miller, with HRG or Dolly?
No, I mean, I got the latest update from Mr. Weaver was just as Mr. Otterbein had just reflected, that what he had provided to the Otterbeins in that latest update. Mr. Weaver continues to work with HRG on that to try to get plans revised. I know the Conservation District has been in contact with the contractor, Dolly, as early as just, I think about 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago now, relative to the permit. There continues to be violations that are present in existence. And so that updated kind of violation notice just got received by the township just today. So that's going to take some time for HRG to take a look at in concert with whatever Dolly has to suggest as a workup to that error. So I do believe that Mr. Weaver is trying to connect with a date to meet with the Otterbeins.
Correct.
And to have HRG on site as well. To discuss that on site and to get a better kind of understanding of the situation, so that we can move forward on this. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is not good, and it's something that the township is not intent on simply trying to skirt or not address. So I know we are in the process also of looking at ways to bring your driveway back to pre-existing condition in whatever way we can, and so we're working on it. We're just this doesn't look good, so there's no doubt about it.
Again, thank you very much, sir, for that. I don't want to take up too much more time unless you have questions for us. Again, open invite when we have. Do you have a question, sir?
The question I have for you, Mr. and Mrs. Otterbein, this has been going on for 10 months.
Correct.
Do you believe you know what the solution is to this problem, or are you waiting for us to come up with the solution?
I don't profess to be an engineer, sir, so I don't want to step on their toes. I don't have a degree in E&S controls and stormwater management.
That's fine. You obviously been dealing with this for a long time.
Yeah.
I apologize
that you have this problem, and I'm sure our professional staff will fix it for you.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to know if you were already predetermined a solution you'd be happy with. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't. Thank you for asking.
You had another question.
Did you have another question, ma'am?
Yes, so, the only problem that you're having is the driveway?
It's all kind of stacking on top of each other, ma'am. The driveway is washing out. That's the first point of contact with the erosive flow. The sediment-laden water is depositing in the hay fields with the remnant of the driveway. It is registered USDA farmland, which we do lease out. And we're losing farmability of it due to the washout, washing into it.
Our farmer has been getting stuck trying to just come onto the property to, you know, farm, to do day-to-day.
Stuck with his tractor?
Correct.
Yeah, so, and then that's creating ruts and just further
The
causing
field
issues.
is reaching a point where it can't be saturated anymore because of the amount of water being dumped into it.
Okay.
The carrying capacity and drainage is taking longer because of the amount of water coming onto the property.
And, this started last summer,
Correct, ma'am.
and we first heard from you when?
July of '24.
Okay. Shortly after the dumping
Construction
of the
started.
fill started?
Correct, ma'am.
Well, that was even before the fill began. That was just when the vegetation was stripped initially, and we started incurring damage. But we have all of the emails from July of 2024 all the way through until
And the
today.
emails were going to someone here at the township?
Yeah.
Tim Nolt, the Public Works Director.
All
We
right.
advise we stay in contact with him primarily.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much, and please continue to reach out to the board to the extent that you have issues and they're not being addressed. Over the last week, we've heard a lot about this, and we appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Open invite for anyone who would like to come out. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. Stephen Blaine. I live at 5732 Kenwood Avenue. To bring up our sewer and stormwater project we discussed about a month ago. The due date's come and gone again. I've been dealing with this for a year. Doley, of course, is the contractor. And at the last meeting, I think we discussed it, going to start fining the company, and nothing's happened. Project's still not done, not even close, and we haven't heard any updates or anything. So can we get an update or something that's going on with this project?
Yes, members of the board, on my way, in passing with Mr. Weaver today, he did mention that Doley is going to be on site. No, not Doley, but contractors with Doley will be on site next week to begin paving.
Okay, so that's past the May 15th deadline that we discussed at your talk about starting to fine them?
Yes, we will be.
Accordingly?
Yes, sir. We will be discussing that with our solicitor.
Okay, and that's now or the near future? I mean, the project hopefully is done in another month, because I don't think it's going to be done in a month. A lot of paving, and there's still a lot of cement work to be done.
Yeah, I have not been provided a list of pending concrete work, but I know that the paving will begin next week, so that's as up to date as I have at the moment.
All right, thank you.
I know that the board has authorized the solicitor and township staff to pursue liquidated damages to the extent that it's economical to do so. We will ask them to do that, Mr. Blaine.
Oh, thank you. I just think that Doley, I know how they work. I imagine these citizens here are having the same problems. Their work is shoddy and is not very good.
Thank you.
John Packer, 5723 Kenwood Avenue. To follow up on Mr. Blaine's questioning, can I just ask a direct question as far as that goes? Has there been another extension issued to them? Now that we are past the May 15th deadline?
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Due to when the board last took action on the contract extension, you are correct that the contract date had been established as the 15th. However, it also did have language in there with regard to PPL's, at that time, pending work that still needed to be addressed. And due to that, that delay by PPL, the language that was approved by the board at that time did allow for basically a one-to-one extension on the extension. So all that to say is that the contract completion date finally is the 25th of this month. So to quickly answer your question, yes, the 25th of this month is the, I'll say, new extension date.
Okay, good enough. And I didn't see anything on the agenda in regards to the career firefighters. Will there be anything, any sort of update on that tonight? Or I was not here last week. I watched the majority of the meeting, as long as it was on online. But I'd like to make a comment if you're not going to have it on anything tonight.
It is not on the agenda. We do anticipate another session where we'll allow more public comment on the topic, but if you'd like to make a comment.
Yeah,
now,
just quickly, and again, in watching it and in listening and hearing and seeing reactions from everybody, it appeared to me that this is a settled issue that was budgeted last year. You implemented a tax increase on the residents, but provided no extra service. So I don't know when your budget runs, if it's calendar, if it's a fiscal, what the fiscal budget is, but if it's calendar year, starting January, we started getting taxed and we're not getting the service we're paying for. So if they've already been budgeted and you had a press conference to let the world know what we're doing, and you have people that are applying for a position, but you can't give them any timeline of when they're going to start, you're going to lose people. I mean, you already lost, they said there were 25 to start, you're down to 20 for whatever reason, I don't know. But people can't sit around and wait forever. So my opinion is, you know, you've done as much research as you can do. You've had Director Kashiba, who I worked under in the state police. He's a wonderful and very, educated person in this stuff. And I believe him and the deputy chief have taken 2 years to compile everything that's needed to get us to this point. And I see no reason to keep kicking the can down the road and saying we need to get more information, we need to find this. Well, if that's your attitude, you'll never do it. You've got to just, at some point, you're gonna make mistakes, you correct them when they happen. That's how you do it. You put in the best policies, procedures in place, you follow them, and if they need corrected, you correct them. You know, Mrs. Irby's sitting here, she's gonna go over stuff that in codes you're correcting because they're not working anymore. You need to change them. So you need to lay down what's gonna happen, when you're gonna hire, and move forward and get those people the help they need and get the residents and the citizens of this township, what they deserve.
Thank you, Mr. Packer.
Good evening, Madam Chair. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Mr.
I'm Joe Lindsay. I live at 6244 Overview Lane. I, too, was not here last week, and I grudgingly watched the meeting this afternoon, and I was embarrassed, totally embarrassed. We had all these volunteer firemen here. We had the best public safety director in the county, and that goes also for the deputy fire chief as well. All this experience, all of this education, and the only person on this board that I think knows anything about what they were talking about from experience is the chairman, whose family is involved as a first responder. My point is this. This issue was voted on last year by the then Board of Supervisors. And as Mr. Packer indicated here, the fire tax was raised to pay for the plan, which included everything, including salaries. Then there was an issue brought up by the manager, who doesn't know anything about fighting fires either, about unionization. Well, we have unions in this township. They never were always unions. That didn't mean that the Board of Supervisors stopped everything so they could discuss what are we going to do to pay for the unionization. They worked through it. So what I'm asking is, I read on the website and saw it on the meeting that Madam Chair Kurtz had indicated that the Board of Supervisors are supportive of this plan. I'm asking you to use some common sense and approve this plan with any further types of deliberation. Nothing is going to change. Everybody involved in that meeting last Tuesday, from what I saw, except for one, was on the same page with this. And so as a citizen and as a prior first responder, I am imploring the board to put this thing to rest because there's nothing to vote on. It was voted on last year. And I'm going to close and just say, Madam Chair, can you do us all a favor? Please don't miss any more meetings this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay.
Can I just make a quick question just to follow up on what him and I talked about? What does have to happen? What's your next step? Maybe the solicitor has to answer this, but again, if everything's approved, the budget's approved, what are we waiting for? What motion do you even have to make? Can you not just tell the manager, tell the director, start hiring?
There has been an advertisement out for hiring. I will tell you that the board did vote on a proposal to conduct a study with regard to salaries and compensation. The prior board did authorize the RFP process to solicit proposals for that study. So we are waiting for the results. And we do expect them in the next number of weeks. Brad?
Well, we're beyond that, actually. The board has acted on the proposals. And,
Correct.
And so we do have the contract in play with PFM.
Right.
And they will be quickly working to look at that issue. Even with all this discussion, beyond any sort of notion that there's been a delay on this issue, even if there weren't an action taken by the board to hire PFM to do this study, we still wouldn't have firefighters today. I mean, there's a process. It's a very lengthy process with regard to hiring firefighters. We're in the process currently of evaluating those 20 applicants. We have scheduled, physical evaluations, mental evaluations, written evaluations. It's not a process that takes a week to hire. And so beyond any sort of conversation relative to this contract, we still wouldn't have firefighters as of today. So that's
Right.
just
Yeah,
a bit
my
of
question
context.
specifically, what was the time frame that PFM gave us for responding to the study?
Yeah, sure. So the contract that was awarded by the board does allow the project to conclude no later than the end of September. That is the contract expiration date. We had earlier conversations with PFM that in their assessment that it could be done much quicker. Anything that we can do, the township can do to get PFM data relative to comparables and other important information, that'll speed up that process. And we anticipate it to be closer to, like a 6-week project. So September is the contract end date, but they have assured us that could be expedited quite dramatically.
Just to be clear, and that's only on the salaries. You're talking about the study for the salaries, correct?
Correct.
With this, okay. So again, I get it. I've been through that process many years ago, but I get what he's saying. But again, at what point in the process are these people? Because what are you telling them? Because they can't wait forever. you know, to, okay, we got to study until September, then maybe we'll make a decision. But, you know, there's got to be something more concrete. Or again, you're going to lose these people. They're going to go find a job, apply somewhere else. So I can see your number of 20 continuing to dwindle, and nobody's going to apply because, again, there's too many unknowns.
Mr. Packer, we'll have Brett Graham reach out to you to let you know exactly where we are in that process. He's been coordinating that. And we did hear the volunteers last week loud and clear. They are tired and they're exhausted and they need help. And that weighs on us very heavily.
Okay, thank you.
One last thing, Madam Chair. It's costing the taxpayers a lot of money for these studies. The first one was $50,000. I don't know what this one is, but I heard a figure of about $30,000. To really spend that much money on deciding what we're going to pay these people, we're sitting on a $15 million reserve. I end my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Is there any other public comment? Okay. We will move on to chairman and board members' comments. Are there any comments from the board? Okay. Manager's report?
Just one item, board members. It is important to note that if approved by the board, if you're okay with this, the board will be meeting an executive session after this session to discuss matters of personnel. So just wanted to put that on the record.
All right, moving on to old business. Action to adopt ordinance number 2025, number 1, comprehensive zoning ordinance amendment. And we're moving to Director Zerby.
Yes, good evening. Draft Ordinance 2501, Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance repeals and replaces Chapter 203 of the Lower Paxton Township Zoning Ordinance, which was adopted on July 11th of 2006. Ordinance 2501 includes updating land use regulations such as a new zoning map with zoning district changes, deletions, locations, and boundaries, uses allowed in each district, standards that apply to buildings and structures, standards that apply to specific uses, updated parking standards, updated signage standards, and updated definitions and other provisions to ensure compliance with state and federal regulations and related case law. The Board of Supervisors have been provided the following information regarding 2501, the proposed ordinance, as well as a copy of the public notice. The proposed ordinance was advertised in accordance with the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. It was advertised in the legal ad column of the Sun on Thursday, April 24th and Thursday, May 1st of 2025. On March 24th, 2025, the ordinance was sent to the Dauphin County Planning Commission, Lower Paxton Township Planning Commission, and neighboring municipalities for comment and review. At the May 7th, 2025 Lower Paxton Township Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the ordinance for the comprehensive zoning update. Prior to the May 7th Planning Commission meeting, the board workshop on May 13th, and again this evening, staff was available in the lobby to meet with residents and answer questions. Tim Stopp of HRG is the consultant for the comprehensive rewrite, and he is here this evening to share the project highlights and procedure for Ordinance 2501, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for the board and the public when Mr. Staub concludes.
Thank you, Amanda. Good evening, supervisors. As Amanda indicated, that we've been working on this zoning ordinance for the better part of 4 years. The initial draft after coming out of committee came last year at this time, and the first advertisement was with the Planning Commission, and over the summer months and into the fall, we received a lot of public comments, and we worked with staff to resolve those comments, and got a unanimous vote from your Planning Commission to move it forward at the May meeting, May 7th, yeah. And as Amanda indicated, majority of this ordinance is in support of implementing your 2018 comprehensive plan, as well as bringing in modern land uses that weren't previously defined within your ordinance to bring it up to standards today. With that, I will hand it back over to you if there's any other questions or comments.
Do you want to recess the meeting so we can open the public hearing, please?
Absolutely. The meeting is recessed.
We will now open the public hearing scheduled and advertised for tonight, Monday, May 19, 2025, at this time and place on ordinance 2025-01, comprehensive zoning ordinance amendment. I will ask that the stenographer incorporate all of what was just discussed into the record, and we'll first ask if the board members have any questions regarding the ordinance.
I do not.
Hearing no questions, we'll ask members of the public if there are any questions on the proposed ordinance. Sir, please state your name and address for the record, and then feel free to ask the questions.
Good evening, John Kirshner. I reside at 5914 Palmer Drive in the Meadowbrook community. I'm a certified land planner, and I've been monitoring the process that the township has taken over the last couple of years on this effort to update the comp plan and the zoning ordinances. I just wanted to compliment the township consultant and the planning commission on their efforts. A lot of times I see these efforts get to the end of a long path here. They see the light at the end of the tunnel, and sometimes we'll rush to enactment. That wasn't the case here. At the hearings, there was some passionate input from some of the residents, and the township took a step back and assessed those, pleas and made changes. In my mind, you have a better plan as a result of that. So I wanted to compliment the Planning Commission and the consultant for going through that effort. So in closing, I would support the zoning ordinance update as well as the comp plan update, but I would also be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity here to highlight the efforts of the township staff, Mrs. Zerby and Mr. Garrett. They have shepherded this process for many, many years, and they are ambassadors for this township. I've been in their shoes, but it's been 30-some years ago, but I know that their positions garner far more complaints than they do compliments. They are well-deserving, and the township's lucky to have two good people in these key positions. Now, I know the supervisor's relatively young composition as far as experience on the board, so you may not have had the opportunity to work closely with them. Of course, I know the management has, but I just wanted to compliment both of them and let you know you have two good people. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment or questions on the proposed ordinance? Any last comment or questions? Seeing none, any last comments or questions from Ms. Zerby or Mr. Garrett? All right, we will close the hearing.
Okay. And we are resuming our regular board meeting at 7:41. So I will make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-01, the comprehensive zoning ordinance amendment. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to you, Director Zerby, Mr. Garrett, and everyone, especially our Planning Commission and our prior board for all of the efforts that they've undertaken to get to this point. Congratulations. Okay. Moving on to item 7.2, action to adopt ordinance 2505, amending the Lower Paxton Township Comprehensive Plan Land Use Map as adopted on August 8th, 2018.
Yes, this ordinance amends the Lower Paxton Township Comprehensive Plan to Land Use Map as adopted on August 8, 2018 to include 2 additional land use categories and delete a no longer used category. The land use map highlights major policy matters concerning the land use plan categories of which relate to existing or recommended zoning districts. The comprehensive plan sets overall policies for the preservation and development over the next 10 to 15 years. The amended land use map and land use categories will include descriptions of the neighborhood design zone, the town center district, while deleting the residential cluster district. The Board of Supervisors has been provided the following information. They received ordinance 2505 and a copy of the public notice. The proposed ordinance was advertised in accordance with Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, the legal ad column of the Sun on Thursday, April 24th, 2025, and Thursday, May 1st of 2025. On March 24th, 2025, ordinance 2505 was sent to Dauphin County Planning Commission, Lower Paxton Planning Commission, and local school districts for comment. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the amendment at the May 7th meeting, and we are happy to answer any questions that the board or the public have on Ordinance 2505.
Are there any questions from the board? May I have a motion to adopt Ordinance 2505, amending the Lower Paxton Township Comprehensive Plan Land Use Map?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much for your presentation and your time tonight. Okay. Moving on to new business, we have an action item to appoint Ryan Thomas to the Parks and Recreation. We've heard a lot of great things about Ms. Thomas and her enthusiasm, her eagerness, and her fresh perspective. Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Ms. Thomas to the Parks and Recreation Board?
I make a motion to approve Ms. Thomas to the Parks and Rec Board.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion or public comment on this issue? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay. All right, moving on to action item 8.2, action to adopt resolution 2025-05, authorizing the submission of a $250,000 Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Program grant to the Commonwealth Financing Authority for the Hodges Heights Park Improvement Project. Director Scott.
Thank you. Good evening. On April 8th, I presented the Hodges Heights Park Plan that was designed as a passive park to address the ground stability yet meet the needs of the community. Today, I'm requesting the submission of the Greenway Trails Recreation Program grant for $250,000 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for Hodges Heights improvement. The grant request is for $250,000 with an 85-15 match required. The total plan is approximately $513,330. To meet the minimum 15% local match requirement and the fund remaining for this project, the township intends to use $263,330 of the Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds for this project. The grant is due May 31st. The funding would be announced in late fall of this year, and this would lead preparing for renovation as early as 2026.
Are there any questions of the board? No questions? All right, I will make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-05, authorizing the submission of the $250,000 Ways, Trail, and Recreation Program grant for the Hodges Heights Park Improvement Project. May I have a second?
I second.
Is there any public comment or discussion on this matter? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Director Scott.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to item 9, subdivision and land development, we have the improvement guarantees.
So, as treasurer, I've reviewed the improvement guarantees with Mr. Miller and Ms. Zerby. Both of those improvement guarantees should be, I'll make a motion for the board to approve the improvement guarantees. I need a second.
Thank you, Supervisor Thompson. Do we have a second?
I second.
Is there any public comment or discussion on the improvement guarantees? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the payment of bills for the Lower Paxton Township and Lower Paxton Township Authority.
Having reviewed the 3 check registers with the finance manager, I make a motion for the township to pay the bills.
We have a properly made motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Vecchio. Any public comment or discussion on this matter? No? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any announcements of the board? No announcements?
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to get to staff, I'm sorry. Madam Chair, members of the board, we do have a number of very important guests in the audience this evening from Troop 360, both the scouts themselves, but also their adult chaperones, if you will. And I believe it is customary that the board entertain comments by those individuals if they so choose. After having sat through yet another, I'm sure, informative meeting on local government, the scouts may be interested to share their experiences or share what badges they may be working on.
Please don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you.
I feel so targeted right now. I'm Joseph Bolster. I'm here with Troop 360. We belong with Holy Name of Jesus Church on Allentown Boulevard. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. I am working on the Citizenship and the Community Merit Badge. This is a requirement to come out to a meeting, see what's going on in the community. And I learned a lot. It was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Way more fun than school, believe it or not. So again, thank you for having us. I speak for my entire troop when I say that. And we may look forward to coming back in the future. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good luck, and we'd be lucky to have you anytime.
Troop 360 has a long and treasured history in our township, and the leadership of that troop is pretty awesome too. So you guys should take advantage of the skills that you're being taught and the lessons that you're learning as scouts. Somebody want to give us the Scout Oath or the Scout motto?
So my name is Joshua Davis. I'm the SPL for Troop 360. The Scout Oath is blanking on it right now. Oh, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, too. So I just want to say thank you for all your hard work you do for the community. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Matthew Davis. I am part of Troop 360. The Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Thank you.
Scoutmaster and Scout leaders, that's a great thing for these young men to be learning. Thank you for your time and effort.
Absolutely. Anyone else from Troop 360?
Thank the board for your time. They don't really appreciate it. Although they say they do, they have no idea how much this has broadened their perspectives on what's involved and how a board is a bunch of ordinary people that get together to solve complex problems. But on that, I want to recognize my team all here with all my scouts and my adult leaders. Ryan Bolster, who works as our treasurer, Doug Davis, who works at the VA, but Ryan works at the diocese. Doug Davis works at the VA and is one of my assistant scoutmasters. John Elter, who's been a longtime Eagle advisor and our committee chair, and Charlie Krause, who's been doing this for many, 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 many years, and is my mentor as well as an assistant scoutmaster. They're all a great bunch. It's great to work with them, and thank you for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here and your time, and we would love to have you back anytime. You're always welcome. So thank you, Troop 360. Any other announcements? No. All right, seeing none, I will adjourn the Board of Supervisors meeting at 7:54. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
There's like 6 of them, and I have to sign this project away from me.
I don't know, it was in an hour, so that's